Hi, it's your boy back, man. Uh, let's hit the subscribe button, like. We're going to get this show started. AOC has been on the loose, and y'all know I've been busy. And I'm getting ready to help my son with his channel called Trop Shop Until You Drop, And, hey, I've been cleaning up these cameras. I'll be handling that business, y'all. I'll be handling that business. Clean them all up. Wow. So, other than that, that shop to the drop channel did pretty good yesterday. That boy had me shopping. And he was with his mom earlier today. And man, look at what I got. Oh, look at what I got. And then I said, I should have filmed something for him. Man, this is what I'm going to be spoken on Father's Day. So until then, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. I hope you enjoyed the whole week as a mother and a parent. So get this show started. I'm a little nervous on this one because, man, this AOC stuff, check this out. We coming up with it. And like what my title says, this shit is that she's not checking her priorities accordingly because, talking about oversight. Okay. But is she oversighting her community? Let's see. Fair use. All right. Now we're going to get down from right here. And the part I wanted to get to is this. Fair use.
Responsible.
Get to this right here. This is the Paralegal Institute. Feel free to go to that. His YouTube show, it is blasting. They even got paralegal training. So let's see what's coming up with AOC. Check it out.
There, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem.
And we are back, and we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton, and it just takes you a little flick of the finger.
I'm going to
Now,
speed
y'all,
it up
today what we're
now.
going to do is we're going to get into, look at your girl. Do y'all remember when AOC, when Tom Homan told her that she'd be under investigation, and she wrote that terrified letter? Like, I'd like to know. And now she's Breaking Bad, y'all. AOC is Breaking Bad, and we're going to get into the whole saga today. Just today, I think, actually. She came back with what you saw there in the coming up. We're going to get into it.
There's
But
been a lot of
first,
things happening.
check out what she says here about United States. It seems like all of the due process that applies to American citizens might not apply to foreigners. And frankly, I don't know, because American citizens cannot be deported. But y'all listen to her reasoning and see if you agree with her.
Wait, so she's going to break out her reasoning. Her reasoning, not the American reasoning. And every time they bring up these quotes and stuff, notice they don't have no literature of the Constitution and all of this stuff is just gibberish. Gibberish. This shit is like she don't even tell us where to go to find what's coming out of your mouth. Is it true? See, so until then, and with that, you would believe you would think that the news channels or quarterly may want to help them out. I don't know. So give a shout out to the CIA, the Center Intelligent Assertive Brothers, and we're going to watch some more of this show. Uh-oh.
Republicans are trying to traffic in something that is blatantly wrong.
Traffic. Notice what she said. When they traffic in 20 million immigrants, and mainly in the black community. It's just straight up the truth. Black and brown community stacking the deck.
Representative Byron Donalds made a fool of himself.
Byron Donald, is the one that's running against Jasmine Crockett right out there in Texas. Notice? So in other words, Byron Donald, well, no, not Byron Donald is the other guy, but still, these are people that's a threat. Byron Donald's the threat among her and Jasmine Crockett. See, but she can't talk like Jasmine about the wife and stuff because she's of that complexion as her. So let's get this rest of this started, and I'm back it up.
She came back with what you saw there in the coming up. We're gonna get into it, but first, check out what she says here about United States. It seems like all of the due process that applies to American citizens might not apply to foreigners, and frankly, I don't know because American citizens cannot be deported. But y'all listen to her reasoning and see if you agree with her.
Republicans are trying to traffic in something that is blatantly wrong. Representative Byron Donalds made a fool of himself on national television saying that constitutional rights are only for U.S. citizens. That is incorrect because constitutional rights are about the land. They are about the soil of the United States of America.
The soil.
This is the land of the free, okay? That means that it is our government that is responsible for being held accountable to the standards of the Constitution of the United States. It's not that there are some people that have rights and other people that don't have rights. We are a nation process. The government is required to conduct itself along the standards of due process.
So while I agree with AOC here, it seems like people do deserve due standards. You can't say that American citizens and people who are not citizens will have the same due process because, again, there will be no deportation hearing for an American citizen. So there has to be some difference there, but I'd like to know what y'all think. Now, next, y'all, we're going to get into this clip where AOC, she's breaking bad, y'all. AOC, I think she realized that she wants to run for president, and I think she realized that she can't. So while later we'll see the letter she wrote about the investigation into her, which seemed kind of, scared or paranoid, but I think she realized, no, I need to seem strong, because right now I'm a Democratic leader, and I might be able to run for president. So let's take a look at how she's, basically saying, come for me. She's issuing a threat to Tom Homan and company. Let's take a look.
And now what DHS is trying to say, again, they're using public intimidation because they know that they cannot come for us all. They know that they cannot come for us all. And recently what they said is that DHS is allegedly looking into arresting members of Congress who were showing up for their legal and constitutional obligation to conduct oversight. If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, on Representative, or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we're going to have a problem.
See, and remember, y'all, this is the party that told Trump and all them, no one's above the law. Now, all of a sudden, something sounds and seems rather odd. No one's above the law. You have agents, law enforcement, and you say you above the law. Or were you demonstrating unlawful assembly? Think about it. Write in the chat what y'all think.
Because the people who are breaking the law are the people who are not abiding by it. And it is enshrined in the law that members of Congress who show up to ICE and CBP facilities are required to be granted access, legally required to be granted access. And they legally cannot be inhibited from accessing these facilities to conduct.
So they wanted to do access. Now, mind you, they already been after the man ever since he got in. So if your fire marshal going there, everybody already know, you already told them to go in there and look for violations. And if you go in there to look for something, you're going to go in there and find some violations. And believe me, they was going to go in there and find something. Even if the place was spot clean, it was going to be something out of order. Ain't that something?
Their constitutional obligation to investigate and conduct oversight. So if Kristi Noem wants to break the law, That's on her. But it sure as hell is not someone like Representative Robert Menendez that
Yeah.
needs to be arrested. Okay? We need to be talking about ICE agent, the ICE agents and the cowardly policy of covering their faces. Covering their faces. And a lot of them are also covering their identification. These are public employees that are accountable to the public and accountable to Congress. And this idea that we are going to allow some kind of paramilitary force to bloom that is not in any way accountable to the Constitution of the United States, we got another thing coming. Because that right there, that kind of attitude is what is actually anti-American. That kind of attitude is what is actually treasonous, is to attack our Constitution and to attack the obligations that we have in our Constitution, to attack free speech, to attack the powers of Congress, to erode our ability to investigate and conduct oversight. That is what is un-American.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
And this administration, our Constitution, and to attack the obligations that we have in our Constitution, to attack free speech, to attack the powers of Congress, to erode our ability to investigate and conduct oversight, that is what is un-American.
Now, like I said, I'm in it right there. Go over there and check out that clip on Peril Institute, Fair Use. She said, to block what? The oversight? Where's the oversight in her district? Her oversight, I bet you it has a lot of Planned Parenthood. We already saw in some other clips that, you know, the community over there and her oversight, people is scared selling things on the street, sex trafficking and all of that stuff in that nature. And if you don't believe me, let's take a little peep at some of these things. And before we take this peep, we're going to do a slight little short. What I like to say is, well, AOC is called out because every time it's a tragedy, the Dems loves this. Fair use. They loves this when it's a tragedy. AOC called out for late lies. That's about investigating homeless men death.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she never passes up the chance to claim the spotlight for herself. She never misses the opportunity to use a tragedy for her own self-promotion. This is no different. I will note that the Met Gala was on Monday. She not in attendance because she got into ethics trouble for attending the one back in 2021. So therein lies maybe her motivation here for calling this murder. But she's run into problems before saying that the shoplifting was because impoverished mothers were stealing baby formula. And that's a lie, too. This is organized crime. Well, for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she never passes up the chance to claim the spotlight for herself.
So that's what that was talking about, and that was fair use. So you see what's going on. It's going to be a lot of getting out in front of us, claiming the spotlight on anything that's catastrophical. I don't know if that's a word, but man, anything like it should, boy. And what's cracking me up the most, they know they is in a weak place if they ask for aid from Black Lives Matter because they know the landscape of the American Black people. And because the way the American Black people is moving, the other people that's being deported is recognizing those moves too. Like, where they like, no, we only work on our issues when something comes out. Because while this is going on, now we can finally see they aren't pushing the paint like this for our grievances. And then I'm gonna show you in this next clip that this is exactly what they do. Fair use. Where is that one? This is a juicy one. Let's take a little look at her district. See now they're trying to hide from her. And then I want y'all to notice one more thing. Fair use. Yep, y'all from the trip. Notice another thing too. On how the landscape really changed is that they, you don't see a lot of black women coming and coming to her defense. Now, now we're on the different side of the aisle. Now you see pale faces after pale faces. That's what I'm trying to say. So fair use on this one right here. Check out this. This is a little bit of some sort of investigation jumping off over there in her district. See?
Heard her preface it by saying, look.
Yeah. Now let's back this up. This is a little bit of fair use. Going to the
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio
decisions about what to allocate in that context.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez facing criticism this week after dismissing fear of nationwide crime spikes as you heard her say, hysteria. Native New Yorker and veteran Desi Cuellar is looking to challenge AOC in 2022 and joins me now with his reaction. Thanks for being here. I mean, you heard her preface it by saying, look, you know, none of this is okay, but then she goes on to talk about hysteria, and it seems like that just buries everything that she said previously. Then, what is your reaction?
I mean, it's to be honest, it's disgraceful. It's, you know, her downplaying it all, saying that it's just headlines about percentage increases. It just goes to show you that she's willing to dehumanize her own voters just to reshape the narrative. And you know, furthermore, for her to say that it's just hysteria, as if it's all in our heads, it makes her as cold and callous about people losing their lives. I mean, as Cuomo was when he downplayed the COVID-19 nursing home deaths.
So what made you decide to want to challenge her?
That's her district.
I'm tired of having somebody that claims to represent the Hispanic community, me being a Latino myself. It's just the fact that she calls herself a democratic socialist when socialism has destroyed so many Hispanic lives, families. I mean, it's just, I don't think that somebody who is embarrassed of this country should.
Because socialism, like our boy Dennis Spurling, go over there, check out his channel, and I believe, man, that's a lot of people to speak. See, the socialism construct is the socialization of single-family homes, the destruction, and a whole lot of free gifts and bells and whistles. See, socialism. Look it up, please, and then you'll see, like, because what he mean by Hispanic, it has tucked and starting to dismantle on their family well-being, just like we have had Black Lives Matter, Latino X. Y'all remember that viral video of when they were speaking with Governor Newsom? Huh. Yeah, Latinx. Latinx is a, man, they giving them a whole nonprofit, whole college and a nonprofit, if you want to help improve your community while they dismantle it by hypnotically giving you grants, all kind of things. But, you know, I beg to differ. Let's get on with the rest of the show.
Should have any business holding public office. So I had to do something about it, and that's why I decided to run.
Wow. Well, here's what the National Fraternal Order of Police says on her comment on hysteria. Quote, the National Fraternal Order of Police, AOC, said the quiet part out loud. The narrative matters more to her than people's lives. Dismissing the crime crisis across the country, saying it's just, quote, hysteria, is textbook gaslighting. AOC, those percentage increases are mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters. I mean, they make a good point there. When you put faces on it and you put the names on these faces, you know, and they all have mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, you know, whatever the case may be. They all have family. They all have friends. They're not just numbers. And I think it's important that we get back to that, remembering that.
Yeah, 100% agree. I feel like it's part of her pattern. You could tell that since she's basically never in her district until it's campaign season, and now she's, like you said, reducing
Did you hear?
the people that are victims of these.
Did you hear? When people is victims, she's never in her district when it's campaign season. Notice in a lot of these states where it's socialism, where it's decimated with a lot of homelessness, they don't never show up until it's around election time. You see them walking around these encampments. But at the beginning, it was just one encampment. Now there's many. And now they got many places to go. They can just walk outside and in front of down the block from where they constituent offices is and say they finna do something about it. But what really happened is that they just moved them to another block. And then you see a ribbon cutting, and it looked like things is real on. Everything is timed. That's basically what time. So what they don't like is all these new faces come to the forefront to challenge them because their election season is coming up. So let's get back to this video.
These crimes to just numbers or just headlines that's being used to cause hysteria. It's disrespect.
I want to get your opinion on this before we let you go. A Bronx shooting suspect is off the hook after the judge decides the jury isn't diverse enough. Let's go ahead and pull up the quote from the judge, and this reads, quote, "The defendant has produced clear statistical evidence of underrepresentation of Black and Latino individuals in the pool from which his grand jury was drawn, and a jury selection process that was susceptible to abuse." What do you make of this?
Man, I want y'all to go back
be an
to
eye-opener for a lot of people.
Now, I'm telling you the reason why I'm going
I'm not
back
surprised.
to this. See, go back to this. Didn't I just mention? The defendant has produced clear statistical evidence of unrepresented Black and Latin X individuals in the pool from which his grand jury was drawn, and a jury selection process that was susceptible to abuse. Because that's what they want to stack the debt at. If you're Latinx, that means you're not with. If you're Latinx, that means you're not with the order of the construct of the Latino community. That's basically what it's saying. That you're not down with having a lot of babies, a family order, and you want to get out of construct by you. And when you pick that boat, all these other things get you closer and in to the party. But the reality is they're camouflaging the fact that the 20 million that they're allowed to come over here, a lot of them didn't get a chance to get in the party. But in a lot of these states, a lot of them are hired and still have kids. So don't think everybody's gone. This is a whole lot of work this is a whole lot of work. They ain't even halfway got half of them out here. No way in the world he's going to get all of them out here. But now they're offering free trips. So feel free to go over there and check out this clip from Fox. And I'll see you until